making phones in America. It's about time we bring products back to our great country, and it's about time we disrupt this space. And between really the three gentlemen here, again, hundreds of years in the mobile space, they know the world better than anybody, and we couldn't be more excited about this partnership. So, guys, to an extremely fun and successful venture, to one that's all American, based here in America, with an American family. We're gonna have a lot of fun doing this for years and years to come.
Oh boy.
This is the Andre Segovia Show.
Overall, this whole tech space, there's always something or some company that pops up making all these promises to the contrary. So let me specify this out for all of you. I've always believed there were only two individuals at the helm of major companies that can actually disrupt the tech space. One of them is Trump. The other one is Elon Musk. Okay. But when it comes to what they're launching today, it's not what people are going to believe it is. And at first I questioned, why would you do that when there's multiple companies that basically already do that in the space that you could have partnered with? And I see what they're trying to do now. So let me give you an overview of what this is. And if anyone in the Trump organization is watching, I hope that you take this as constructive criticism, because I've seen some things on a hastily prepared website that I'm about to go over that needs to be updated, because there are some things there that shouldn't be there, and there are things that should be there that aren't there. So let's kick it off. What is Trump Mobile? So Trump Mobile is the latest wireless carrier per se in the space that will be competing against other companies of the like, such as Pure Talk, Patriot Mobile, and others. So this space is actually pretty saturated with competitors out there. These are called mobile virtual network operators, or MVNO. So they don't actually own or maintain any of the infrastructure that creates the wireless service. Those are done by major carriers such as AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon. And in the case of Trump Mobile, they've announced that they are working with 3 nationwide phone service carriers, and the only 3 that I can think of would be Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T. Are those the ones? Because it's entirely doable. But let me go over this plan that they priced at $47.45, very on the nose, guys. All American performance, everyday price. All right, so we're being promised unlimited talk, text, and data, no contract, cancel anytime, international calling to 100 destinations, no credit checks, bring your own phone, that's key, and they'll provide a free SIM kit, and they'll pay for the shipping. So it's supposed to cover entire United States. Again, that's what other companies do, such as Patriot Mobile, so it's nothing new for this space. So far, okay, they're claiming a customer service call center based in the USA. It's supposed to be in St. Louis, Missouri. So that's another one. Okay. They all right here specifies a little more that they are providing a mobile hotspot. They can handle eSIM or physical SIM, and unlimited voice, text, and data to Mexico and Canada. But why choose Trump Mobile? This is some of the other stuff that was announced that kind of differentiates them among other carriers, though. So they're saying roadside assistance is provided by Drive America, and it's included with the bundle. Verizon does provide that. For example, the business division, such as someone like me that actually uses Verizon for his company, they do offer roadside assistance for an additional fee. Right here, it's understood that it's all rolled into one. This whole thing about device protection is a little misleading, though, because this device protection, as we'll see in a bit, is not insurance. And then this is the big one, telehealth services, including virtual medical care and easy ordering and delivering for prescription medications. That's pretty interesting, and I want to see where that goes. But we're going to touch in a moment about this, though. The T1 phone that's going to be made in the USA. But they're already claiming that it's made in the USA, T1 phone available for pre-order and be shipping somewhere around September 2025. I'll get to that in a moment. But let's go to the actual plan page, which is this one, to get more details as to what exactly is the 47 plan. Look, I got no issues with marketing and branding, okay? This is very on point for what it is. But this is all licensing, which is very important to note, because as specified, this is not the Trump organization. They are licensing the Trump name and trademark to be used by this company, and they can revoke it at any time. So they're claiming, hey, we're not liable for any of this, but we're letting them use our name because we trust them. That's basically what's happening here. So let's go look at the plans again. Unlimited talk all the time. Unlimited texting, text away, no limits. This is key. Unlimited data, first 20 gigabytes at high speeds. And that's good that they highlight what that is, because I think that's a pretty good amount, a generous amount actually, for that price point. Because a similar plan that's available, for example, on Patriot Mobile, just to give you an idea, a 20 gigabyte data plan is more of a $68 a month, and it gives you 22 gigabytes of unlimited data before they throttle it. So at the 5250 mark, it's 10 gigabytes. So far, and I'm using that as a apples to apples comparison with data, you're getting 20 gigabytes at high speed. So I think that's actually pretty good. So nationwide on a US network, see coverage maps. You can see it for yourself if you so want to. International calling to 100 destinations. And what they're really highlighting here is that because there's a lot of military service members that are deployed overseas or stationed overseas, that's the families that are calling them shouldn't be punished because they're making long distance calls. And that's supposed to be included here. But this is the part that's confusing, because according to the presentation, it sounded like insurance. I don't like the way it sounded, because they're even saying if you have an iPhone 16, you're protected. Device protection. What on earth does that mean? Because it says device coverage because life happens. Well, what is that? Because device protection is provided by a third-party provider. Device protection is not insurance. So you can look at the terms and conditions for what that might be. Now, when it comes to the telehealth, which is right here, unlimited 24/7, 365 days of the year, telehealth via phone or video, mental health and wellness and prescription discount program. I think that's pretty good. Like, you can offer it, why not? You're trying to be standing out as unique in the space. This is a good approach, along with what you're trying to do with the international calling thing. I want to caution you though, because if you have your own phone and you want to bring it over, you can check your phone's compatibility, and they have this this form that you can fill out to check your compatibility. But if you're adding your compatibility, as I understand it, you might actually be authorizing them to spam you. So I don't know if this part here is just for the completing the order part, or if this is, to actually check your compatibility. I'm not going to take that chance, at least not right now, to check it. But there are services you can use to, check phone compatibility. But I like that they're providing that, because if you have an IMEI, you want to check if it works. Like, for example, will the unplugged phone work on this? I will definitely check that out. But now, let's talk about the phone, because that's the whole point about all this. They're calling the T1 phone, and this is the gold version. And I can tell you that, of course, it's going to be gold, but I can tell you that when the announcement was on Truth Social for the Trump Mobile site, they showed it in white with Trump Mobile. So this implies that there'll be a couple of colors available at least. I don't know if this is going to be priced the same as the gold, or if they're going to launch the gold. I think they're going to try to gauge the interest, but I'll tell you that I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, because it looks like some photoshopping going around. So let me get back to the Trump Mobile page. So they're pricing it at $499 with a down payment of $100 if you pre-order today, because it's coming soon and it supposedly will be fulfilled by September 2025. Here are some of the basic specs that they've included, and they go into more details in the specifications, but I'll tell you why it was hastily put together. So they're calling it, the model is a T1 phone 8002, the gold version. So is the white version the 8001? It's a question that deserves an answer. So it's a 6.7-inch AMOLED screen that has a hole punch on it. That would be the front-facing camera. That's right here. So it's a hole punch. And that's a generous size. It has 120 hertz refresh rate. That's actually pretty good. That's like the industry standard. And it's AMOLED at $499. 50 megapixel main camera, 5,000 milliamp hour long life camera. Really? It's supposed to be a battery. So this is meant to be a battery, because you don't put milliamps in a camera. So it's a long life battery, okay? So they put a fingerprint sensor and an AI face unlock. I can tell you that people are not going to like to hear the AI part. But let's proceed on to the specifications. Processor and RAM, storage. Huh? No. It's 12 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, so that's like the read access memory, like how fast it can access things, and that's a lot of RAM, honestly, and that's pretty good. But there's no mention of a processor here. What is the processor? That's the most telltale things of here, for which is why it's not made in the USA, at least not entirely. But the memory, the internal memory, like your storage, where you put your music, your files, and things, 256 gigabyte internal storage, expandable via SD card. So that means it's a SIM tray that you'll be able to put it in along with a physical SIM. So that means it's a dual SIM tray. The screen, 6.8, rounding up. AMOLED display, they say it's a punch hole AMOLED. Security, here's the interesting part, in-screen fingerprint sensor. So I've seen certain in-screen sensors for more budget-friendly phones that are not as reliable, but they're saying it's an in-screen fingerprint sensor. You can also unlock with your face, but this thing is built into the screen and also 120 megahertz refresh rate. Well, that's a very high promise as to what kind of screen it is, because that's a pricier screen. And I haven't seen a phone, maybe some Asus devices might have it at that price point, but man, that's a Taiwanese company sourcing from Taiwanese. This one is supposed to be American, built in America. There's no way I believe this stuff is being built in America to this extent when those industries do not exist yet, at least not to the capacity. Unless they know something, I don't know. Now, the rear cameras, because you see 3 cameras here at the back, and this is main camera is 50 megapixels. The depth sensor is 2 megapixels and macro lens is 2 megapixels. That means there's no ultra wide camera on this as far as I understand it. The selfie cam is 16 megapixels. Nowhere does it say if these are shot or recorded pictures at 1080p, which would be HD. Does it do full HD plus recording? In fact, it doesn't even mention the resolution of the AMOLED display. Are we talking about a 720p display? Are we talking about a 1080p display? Is it full HD plus or is it just HD? We don't have any of those details. The battery, 5,000 milliamp hour battery with 20 watt charging, which is fast charging when it's plugged in. I don't know. There's no mention here if it's a wireless charging, and if it is, how fast is the wireless charging? Doesn't mention that. So the ports, it has a headphone jack, always a plus, but USB Type-C is at the 2.0 version, and it has on-the-go support. So what that means is that's OTG. So what that means is you can connect like a external hard drive to it if you want to transfer files that way. That's what it means. And it also promises to be launching with Android 15. That's a tall order. So there's a lot here to try to make out of. And I do not believe this to be a de-Google device because they're not saying that it's their own operating system. But if it is its own operating system, then we need answers about that too, because there's no information about this, but they're telling you pre-order it now, pay $100, and it'll be $499 out the door when it's all said and done, and you'll get it sometime September 2025, and it's to be made in the USA. Now, there is a snippet that I saw Eric Trump saying on the Benny Johnson show where he said that they will eventually be made in the USA. So the first initial rounds of these devices may not be made in the USA, as I suspect they can't. You cannot price a phone at $499 claiming to be made in the USA, when in the case of the processors are not made in the USA. The most USA built phone out there is still $2,000, and not everything is sourced from the United States because it doesn't exist here. So that's the big thing about this. Like, I'm sorry, you cannot make a promise for a device that isn't going to be USA when it goes out the door. This is more like the Daily Wire when they launched the Jeremy's razors to compete against Gillette. The big criticism against them on the onset was that they were sourcing made in China razors. But by the time they got to the 2.0 razor, whatever it is, those were now being made in the USA. So that's a very big difference. And that's what I believe will happen here if that's the way they're approaching it. Now, they're not telling you to buy the phone. They just know people will better buy the phone because it'll be like an all-inclusive ecosystem. You have the phone, customer service is with the same companies providing you the service, and it's all in one, makes it a lot more convenient. And well, why not? If you can, why not? And that's what I said, that There's only two people that can do this. Trump, in the case, the Trump organization, and Elon. But when it comes to the phone, one of the first things that jumped out at me, and let me pull up this one. This is the white version that they announced on True Social. This is still up. Okay, so unless they're saying that they're not going to launch the white one, then it'd be false advertising and marketing, which then puts them in a pickle. But this is what I see. So now let me show you what this looks like. You guys remember this? The unplugged phone. So there's a lot that stands out that's very similar, but where the similarities kind of fall apart is in the screen department. While the screen of the unplugged phone looks very similar to the one that they're showcasing here, it's not the same screen if they're saying it's 120 megahertz refresh rate when the unplugged phone is 90 hertz. And the camera setup, while it's pretty much the same, there is a LiDAR sensor, I believe, that's down here. It's not the same as the one here that they display on the picture of the Trump mobile phone. I actually wonder if that might be an iPhone they superimposed this on as a Photoshop, because it looks very much like an iPhone that I had. There's a lot to be desired with what's being explained about the phone. Be upfront right now, Trump org or Trump mobile, whoever, because apparently they're just using the name. Is this really being built in the USA? Is there something that you guys have a pipeline to that nobody actually knows about? Because even Apple can't do it. To be able to sell an iPhone here built in the USA will cost at least twice as much. That's just the reality of things. So are you sourcing all of the parts for the phone and assembling it here to then say it's made in the USA? Look, I'll have no problem with that. You got American labor building it. That's fine with me. But just don't say that you're going to build it in the USA from the chips all the way to the software or whatever, because we don't even know about the software. There's no information about the software other than we know it's Android because it says it'll launch with Android 15. So is it like Trump OS? It's like, what is it? We don't have those answers. But you're telling people to pay for it now. When that EFT thing popped up recently, as I record this, I for sure thought it was real, but I didn't react to it just yet because something felt a little off, and Eric Trump confirmed that it was fake. In this case, Eric Trump's all over this thing. So he's someone that's been plugged into the tech pipeline, and we have questions that need answers, but no doubt there'll be people that have already been buying this thing up, and I just hope that they aren't being gypped here, because you're promising for a $499 for a device that, mathematically speaking, in the industry is not possible as things stand now. Now, I'll be sending an email over to the Trump mobile team to let them know after this video goes live of my concerns about this device. I hope they're being just taken as concerns, questions that need answering so they can address the public. And I'll let you know if they do respond to me or not, and if they did respond to me or not, what they will be saying, okay? Now, just to reiterate, this is a product that they want to do in-house to sell in-house. That's not the service, though. If you don't trust the phone, but you want the service, you can still do that with your iPhone, with your compatible Android device. That shouldn't be a problem. When it comes to the phone, that's the issues that I'm raising. So hopefully someone at Trump Mobile will be able to respond to my inquiries. So that's all I'm going to say right now. But what about you? Are you interested in this? Are you curious? You going to buy it, or you already pre-ordered it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's where I'll leave it. Thank you so very much for watching this episode of The Andres Segovia Show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay to know the show notes are available at theandresegovia.com. And I'll see you in the next one.